Welcome to the That's Good Broncos podcast. I am your host, Brandon Perna, and I'm joined by your other host, Will Keys. Notice how I didn't say co-host Will, I said other host.
Other host. Yeah,
there's
that's fair.
Yeah, there's no co. Co to me sounds like lesser, right? Like, this is my co-host. I'm above him.
Yeah, it's like, you got a pilot and a co-pilot.
Yeah.
No one thinks the co-pilot does anything, right?
Right.
They just sit there in the cockpit and take a nap unless, the real pilot, like, has a heart attack or something.
Yeah, basically, like, I'm like Denzel Washington in the movie Flight, where the co-pilot's very important to everyone's safety and lives. Until shit gets crazy, then I can turn the airplane upside down. We're gonna roll it and save everybody on cocaine.
All while you're drunk. Yeah, exactly. That's a good movie. I haven't seen that in a while. Well, I'm glad that I am no longer the co-host and I survived cut down day.
Yep, you made the roster.
Now just the other host.
You made the two-man roster.
The two-man roster is here. This would have been a tough show to do by yourself.
Oh God, I'd drown. Today's episode brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Use code DNVR when you sign up at DraftKings to take advantage of all of their can't-miss offers. With football season starting, there's going to be so much to bet on. And just the way I bet on my coffee company, benchwarmerbrew.com. You can get coffee there. Hold on.
He's getting the coffee.
I got a fan designed t-shirt. It is anime me. It's the anime version of me. He asked, do you want a cartoon or anime? And I've only watched Miyazaki Totoro in terms of anime. And I said, let's get weird. Let's go anime. I'm gonna put a link.
It's not pixelated.
Yeah, it's not pixelated. I'm gonna put a link to his t-shirt store. He designed it for free.
Wow.
So I'm just giving him a shout out. 10% of his profits go to the FDNY Foundation. It's an organization that supports families that lost someone due to the line of duty. He's given back to a good cause. He wanted me to, he reached out about like doing an ad to shout it out. And then I was like, no, dude, you're giving money to charity. I'll do it for free, obviously. And then he's like, well, let me design you something. So he made anime bench warmer me.
There you go.
If you want to, he's got obviously an anime version of me is kind of weird. So if that's not your jam, check out Pharaoh Designs, because he's got some really cool, really well done designs there. Like, dude's a talented artist. Pharaoh Designs, again, link in the description if you want to check him out and, support a cause there. Today, we're going to be talking about Broncos news and a little bit of AFC West news. A lot of cuts, trades, rosters shaking up, getting ready for the season. So there's kind of a lot to talk about. And we'll start with Broncos stuff, and then we'll kind of get into maybe some tidbits of the AFC West, any of the roster moves or cuts that surprised us. And,
yeah. All right. I want to start with the Bryce Callahan trade rumors because
they're hot today.
Yeah. That t-shirt's about to be hot. They're hot rumors. So they kept, I guess, all the corners except for the ones you expected. OJ Moody is on IR. They kept Kerry Vincent, but they're still very deep at the position. So much so that it makes sense to get rid of one. It makes sense to keep them all. If you watched the Buffalo game last year, I think you could argue that no amount of corners is enough, or good corners at least. But there's some rumors circulating now that Bryce Callahan could be on the move. I saw the Jets as one landing spot, and then his former team, the Bears, were also mentioned. I always think that's kind of weird. You know, when you let a guy walk and then 2 years later, you're like, come back. It's kind of strange to me. But
yeah,
there's two potential fits there. The question for you really is, what would it take in terms of compensation
to move Brycey?
Yeah. What kind of draft pick? I mean, personally, I'm not letting him go for anything less than Justin Fields.
Okay, Chicago, you want Bryce Callahan? Send us a third rounder in Justin Fields.
Yeah.
And you just kind of hope they don't hear the Justin Fields part, and then they sign the contract.
Third rounder in Justin Fields.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, here's the other thing, because I don't think they should trade Bryce Callahan. That's what you just said, right? You'd like them to keep him.
I think I can. There's definitely a price.
Well, yeah, there's a price for everything. Also, keep in mind that Essang Bassey, if you will, is on the PUP list.
Yeah.
As is Duke Dawson. And like you just mentioned, they put OJ Mudia on IR. So you've got Kyle Fuller, Patrick Surtain, Ronald Darby, and Bryce Callahan. And then all of those guys. So the Broncos could afford to lose him. But I want to play against the Chiefs with 4 starting caliber corners on the field. Even if 2 of those guys are covering either Travis Kelce or Tyreek Hill, like, I don't care. Like, I just want to stop the Chiefs and I want to beat them this year. My thought is you trade Bryce Callahan to the Green Bay Packers, who could use a little corner help. You get a second rounder and, I don't know, a 5th rounder. And then next offseason, when you got to trade for Aaron Rodgers, you just send them those draft picks right back. Just right back. Because obviously it's always great to have picks, but I think if you're not going to make a move this offseason for a quarterback or some other premier player that you kind of identify as maybe a weakness this season, the Broncos have a decent amount of picks next year. They've got great cap space. Like, they can fill those roster spots. You get rid of, I think, this is Bryce Callahan's last year in his contract too, right?
Yeah. Same with Kyle Fuller.
Yeah. Well, Kyle Fuller's on a 1-year deal.
1-year deal.
There's a good chance trade him. I mean, they're not going to release him. That'd be stupid.
That'd be very, very bad.
Like, you would release one of your injured corners that's, young, and maybe you just re-sign him on the practice squad. But if you trade Callahan now, I would work on a deal with Kyle Fuller for an extension this season and get him locked up. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think you could get maybe a 2nd rounder for Bryce. I feel like the Cowboys would give up something for a good corner. I wouldn't want to send him to Houston, but they seem to be willing to sign for anyone.
They seem to not know what they're doing.
Right. But I think a 2nd rounder, or at least like 2, like a 3rd and a 4th, maybe. You want draft picks where you're going to get an impact player. So I think 4th is the highest, and you got to have a package. You got to get like 2 picks if it's there. I'd be okay with the 2nd. But I'd prefer the Broncos to just, you already doubled down on the defense when you didn't draft a QB. So let's just stick with that plan. Otherwise, it looks like you don't have a plan.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point, that if you're kind of just wandering into the start of the regular season going, oh, I guess we have too many corners, it kind of shows group in the NFL. You'll still listen. And if somebody goes, here's, a 1st-round pick for Bryce Callahan, it's not going to happen. But if that was an offer, of course you're going to listen to that. Of course you're going to take it. There's a price for everybody on this team. But I do want to see, because it's not redundant to have 4 really good cornerbacks.
No.
It might make the Surtain pick, if you're not playing him enough, then that becomes a problem. But you can play 4 corners at a time, and you can have a base dime defense. And I think that's what they want to do. But yeah, you kind of want to give that a shot and say, we've got Von Miller and Bradley Chubb back. We're going to get to the passer really quick. And when they do let the ball go, we've got 4 starting caliber corners ready to cover and pick the ball off. I think that's intriguing. You're playing a team like the Chiefs. You want to do that.
Yeah.
You want to have
the
that
Chargers
kind of
this season.
And the Chargers, sure. The Raiders. There's 3 really good passing teams. I think if you can slow them all down, that's worth turning down like a 4th round pick. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I think by naming Teddy Bridgewater the starter, your plan is that defense better be fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And like you said, like injuries last year messed up so much for this team. You get one corner, maybe it's not even like a serious injury, a guy that's out like a couple weeks. Knowing you've got 3 of those other guys to lock it down is such a luxury. There are teams that don't have 2 good corners. So,
right. Yeah.
I would just stand by that. I think it's one of the things I'm excited about heading into the season. So it would 3 good corners. That's fine. I'll roll with it. But like, I like knowing that I shouldn't worry about that position group. And it's one of the most important position groups on the field. And the other thing you touched on was the Broncos weren't actively seeking to trade Bryce Callahan. They're just getting a lot of calls from teams because they have so many corners. So a team I will mention, a team that the Broncos have a good relationship with in terms of if you're connecting it to John Elway, a team I think could use a little upgrade in the secondary, the San Francisco 49ers.
There you go.
You put Bryce Callahan over there with, Jason Verrett. I think that improves.
Who do they even have now? Richard Sherman's gone.
Sherman's gone. Witherspoon's
gone.
Juan Williams, Ambry Thomas.
Yeah. All right. Just give us Trey Lance and we'll make it happen.
Although to San Francisco's credit, they did draft or acquire 2 players from our best named players episode in Diamondor Lenore.
Sure.
Our Edgar Allan poem guy. And then Talanoa Huafonga, who I'm pretty sure Huafonga is something I turned into a dick joke. So a giant phallus is a Huafonga. Just sounded like a girthy, meaty penis, and that's what I went with. But yeah, that's a team that's competing. You expect to be in the playoffs and could be looking to upgrade their secondary. Haven't heard anybody say the 49ers, but
here's a hypothetical that is not going to happen, but it's interesting to think about. You send Bryce Callahan and Teddy Bridgewater for Jimmy Garoppolo. If you do it.
Oh, man. It's like, is Jimmy Garoppolo better than Teddy Bridgewater? Maybe a little bit, but I mean, he's so handsome too.
He is so handsome.
You get that handsome guy street cred.
The handsome boost in the locker room.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I like Jimmy Garoppolo, but not much more than Teddy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess the problem there is you're sending Bryce Callahan, who's very prone to injury, to get Jimmy Garoppolo, who's also very prone to injury.
Yeah.
I guess that would be one of the reasons in favor of trading Bryce Callahan was, he could get injured by like week 2 and miss 10 games. He hasn't stayed healthy either season. I mean, he didn't play in 2019. He was great when he was on the field last year, but didn't stay healthy the whole year.
That's something I thought about earlier. It's like, when would your max value be for Bryce Callahan?
Yeah, I mean, you still have the trade deadline. So if you're out of it by then, like, we're really, really hoping they're not out of it by then. But
God,
they are.
They are. It's a bad season.
Yeah. Time to trade.
But yeah, like all four of your corners are, say, healthy, and the defense is playing well, and you identify like another area of need, or you realize like we are going to move on from Bryce Callahan in, after 10 games, let's just get the picks now and finish the rest of the season. I think at least starting with him there is smart. You do run the risk he could get hurt, but I think he's hopefully past that a little bit. But I don't know. Injuries are just unpredictable.
They definitely are.
It's something
which is
else.
A good reason you should keep a lot of corners.
Yes. Too. Yes. Because you can play them, you can move them around too.
Like chess pieces.
Mm-hmm. The Queen's Gambit, the Bishop's Gambit.
And another reason too, I think, is it gives Fangio that opportunity to play Patrick Surtain as kind of a wild card.
Yeah.
Like they've been talking about. So you want to just see like, hey, this is not going to be his role forever, but if he can play this kind of the year to do it, give it a shot, see what happens.
Send Surtain in on some blitzes, that are kind of surprise, disguised as coverage. You can do some fun things there.
Let him play quarterback a little bit.
Yeah.
Throw the ball, punt the ball like Bishop Sycamore.
There we go. The one thing I feel good about that it took a week of, accepting Teddy as the starter to sink in.
Yeah.
Is if Teddy gets injured, I feel good about Drew Lock being the backup. So Drew Lock starting last year, and you had Jeff Driscoll and Brett Rippon. Like, you don't feel great about the quarterback depth, right? Especially after you watch just Jeff Driscoll play. You're like, oh, dear God, how long is locked out? Then Brett, Rippon looked, decent. But if something happens to Teddy, your drop off to Drew Lock is small. And then hopefully in that situation, Lock excels and takes advantage of
it might not be a drop off
opportunity with the Broncos. But that's like one of those things I guess I didn't, when we were like complaining about Teddy,
that's
a correction, if you will.
I think I think that makes sense. Yeah. Again, though, like I think the order there is a little bit messed up, because you could make the same case, obviously, for, if Drew Lock struggles, you've got a great backup situation in Teddy Bridgewater, and you just don't know. Like, you don't know what's going to happen to Drew Lock's confidence after getting benched.
No,
it could do wonders for it. It could light a fire, I guess, or it could totally break him. We don't know. It's
a guess. It's like, oh yeah, we benched him, and that's what built all his confidence, and that's why he turned into a great pro. I mean, yeah, okay,
yeah,
maybe. Brett Rippon was released, but he made it back onto the practice squad, so I do like that.
I do too.
Cam Newton was released this week as well.
Not on a practice squad.
He gets to choose where he goes next.
Do you think he'll go anywhere this year?
If somebody gets hurt, if a quarterback gets hurt, I think to accept a backup job, then I would be happy as an organization to sign Cam Newton. I would overpay Cam Newton to be a backup if he was good with that role, especially if you have a young QB. Like I said in the episode, I thought the Jets would make a ton of sense because they have no veteran experience on their roster at quarterback. They have Josh Johnson, but he's listed like 4th on the depth chart. Put Cam behind Zach Wilson. I don't know. I just like that for some reason. But Cam has to be all in on that role, because if he's not, then he's got to be willing to be like a open book to helping somebody else out. Cam seems like the kind of guy who would do that, but like he doesn't strike me as Joe Flacco, who's not going to mentor anyone ever. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
I question whether he's built for that. There's a question of whether he's willing to, and whether he is just built to be a backup. because it's kind of just
built
strange
to do anything. If you've seen that frame.
Yeah. No, but that is kind of part of it. Like, he is a very charismatic player, both kind of in the media and probably in the locker room, I'm assuming. But when you see him next to Mac Jones, you're like, okay, I know which one's the starting quarterback and which one's the backup. And it's just weird. It's a weird thing to have a Heisman winner, number 1 pick, former MVP. There's a lot of, I don't want to say negative baggage, but there's baggage there as a backup quarterback. And he's almost like, he's almost too threatening to the starter in a way.
No, that's fair. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I said the Giants or the Jets because I think
look at like Daniel Jones struggles, and then Giants fans look at the bench and see this like 6'5" Greek god who runs like Herschel Walker and can throw the ball a million miles down the field. And they're like, oh, we're going to stick with the guy who's fumbled 3 times already today.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a very appealing backup choice because you can look back at what he's done over his career. You kind of ignore what happened last year and you can go, oh, well, it was 2020. It was COVID. His passing numbers weren't necessarily indicative of everything. He had COVID, whatever, give him a chance. I don't know. It's a weird backup situation to have. Question though for you, not at this point, but back when they traded for Bridgewater, same compensation. Would you rather have Cam Newton or Teddy Bridgewater?
Teddy.
You think so?
Yeah. My issue with Cam is I don't think his shoulder is right. Like, I don't think he'll be a consistent passer, really.
I don't think it's been right for a long time.
Yeah, it's been like 2 or 3 years. That's what like worries you. And I know he played well in that second preseason game, but he did not play well in that first one. And his issues were, part of them were just his passes were bad. That just seems like something that's going to kind of linger week to week. Like maybe, 1 week he plays really well, but I think you're just gambling with it. And he's just taken such a beating throughout his career because he is so fucking strong and perfectly built. Like, he's just taking a toll on his body. I just don't think it's right. Like, he doesn't look like Cam Newton when Cam Newton was winning MVP and when he led the Panthers to the Super Bowl. And even like 2 years late after that, he had a pretty good season. But I think that last year with Rivera in Carolina, they played him through some injuries, forced him or he came back too early. And if his arm was good, hell yeah, I would have taken Cam in a second. You kind of live with some mistakes with Cam, but you always have there's an upside there.
Yeah, you're always pretty sure you're going to get 10 rushing touchdowns at least.
And your red zone offense is so powerful. He scores so many red zone touchdowns, or he did. If you have good running backs to hand off and then a bunch of receiving weapons, that's a nice luxury to have. But I'm not sure he's just that player anymore.
Yeah, and it kind of does bug me when people, because I think there's a debate to be had, but there's people as one of the guys on PFF and a couple other, Twitter know-it-alls who go, well, Cam Newton's easily the best quarterback on the Broncos roster.
Oh my God.
I was like, yeah. I watched Cam Newton play last year. I watched Teddy Bridgewater play last year.
Yeah.
If you're coming away thinking one is clearly better than the other, I don't know what to tell you.
No, you're just saying
he did throw 8 touchdowns last year.
Yeah. Cam
starting most of the season. Yeah. Cam Newton. It's okay, well, let's slow down on the hyperbole here, but quarterbacks will do that to people and people want to hold on to the hope that, he can regain 2015 form. And it's never going to happen.
Yeah, here's the
never
thing.
going to happen.
3 of those 8 passing touchdowns came in week 16. Final game of the season against the Jets. Okay.
Ooh, those don't count.
So He also had
The team
12,
that was trying to lose.
Yeah, he had 12 rushing touchdowns.
Yes.
So if you have a team with this is what I would do. If I were the Rams, I would get Cam Newton, because you've got Matthew Stafford, not going to be intimidated by Cam Newton behind him. But Sean McVay is the type of coach who would use Cam in the red zone. You say, Cam, you're our backup here. If something happens to Stafford, you're the guy, but we're also going to incorporate you into the offense in the red zone. Like a team that's as smart as they are in terms of how they run the ball and the types, and they've had some running back injuries. Those 12 rushing touchdowns for Cam, I think you can still get that kind of production out of him. But like, if you sign Cam and he's your backup, impressive.
Cam Akers out, Cam Newton in. There
you go. Cam for Cam. Speaking of great deals around the corner, and it's time to get in on the action with DraftKings Sportsbook, which now an official sports betting partner of the NFL. And with the NFL returning, oh man, Will and I are excited and scared because work's about to get really crazy. DraftKings is giving new customers $200 in free bets instantly when you bet $1 or more on any football game. So listen up, because you don't want to miss this. You head over to DraftKings Sportsbook, the app, you download that now, and then you place a bet of $1 or more on any week one game, any game you want, any of them, including the Jags, including the Bears, all teams. And you can receive $200 in free bets instantly. Also, opening night, all customers can double their money. This is everybody. Doesn't lose by 74 points. So let's hope the Cowboys beat them by 73. I think that would be pretty good. Fun to watch. You guys still win your money. It's a win-win-win-win-win scenario. All you got to do is download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code DNVR. That is DNVR. To receive $200 in free bets when you place a $1 bet on any football game. That's promo code DNVR to get your free $200 in free bets instantly for a limited time, only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. You know you got to be 21 to do this. It's Colorado only, new customers only, minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required, one per customer. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
You want to know why it's 74 points?
Why?
Because the biggest margin of defeat in NFL history, 73 points.
Ooh, wow, nice.
The 1940 NFL championship game between the Bears and the Washington football team Skins.
Wow. Who won? The Bears?
I think it was Washington.
That was a championship game?
That was a championship game.
How does that happen?
Oh, sorry. The Bears won. And I think the Bears lost to them in the regular season and came back and beat them 73-0.
That they must have just given up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Even the fake high school football team didn't lose that bad.
Yeah, even Bishop Sycamore showed enough of a fight.
I'm not saying this is the best joke in the world, but I thought my Bishop Sankey reference at the end of that was okay.
Bishop Sankey more.
Yeah, I said this makes me question whether or not Bishop Sankey was ever real. But it's like that's just a player I totally forgot about. And
I mean, I don't know if he was real, to be honest. I don't have any memory of him playing for the Titans.
Exactly.
So who knows? A couple of guys that are real that we can talk about really quickly is, first of all, Royce Freeman waived him. So I said last week that he was going to catch 100 passes for like 800 yards. So I guess that's not going to happen. Maybe for another team. And Trinity Benson, who had a great preseason training camp, they traded him to the Detroit Lions. Dan Campbell. I guess he's going to do the kicking there. But if not, they sent a 6th-rounder in Trinity Benson in exchange for a 5th-round pick and a 7th-round pick. George Payton does love his 7th-round picks. I think he had like 4 of them last year. So any thoughts on Trinity Benson? So they waived Seth Williams, their rookie.
Yep.
Tyree Cleveland
Yep.
and Trinity Benson.
Yep.
Any of those moves surprise you?
Well, at first you're like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, what the fuck? But you follow football long enough, like those things happen. I was surprised that both Seth Williams and Tyree Cleveland ended back up on the practice squad.
Those two.
Especially like if the Lions were that interested in Trinity Benson, they should have been interested in either of those guys, which they could have gotten without giving anything up. I think most people were under the impression that the Broncos had just so much depth at that position that somebody was going to swoop up and grab one of those guys off waivers. I was a little sad to see Trinity Benson go. God, I've got these loud jets flying over my house. I don't know if you can hear them. Very distracting to me.
And you're in the basement.
Like you brought to my attention that, he spent 2 years on the practice squad and then he looked great this preseason, making just like the tough contested catches, the reliable sort of things you want to see out of Judy, Hamler, and Tim Patrick. I would have liked it for the story. I like that they got value out of Trinity Benson. And then I also like that Seth Williams and Tyree Cleveland ended up back on the roster because heading into training camp, you were kind of excited about either of those guys. Like Tyree Cleveland started last year. It's just weird when all of those transactions happen and you're like, oh, now who's going to be that 6th receiver?
Yeah.
And they may just keep 5 on the active roster because you've got so much talent there. And then you've got Noah Fant, Albert O, and is it Eric Saubert?
Saubert? Yeah.
Eric. Yeah.
Eric.
Who I guess I read on Twitter that Eric Saubert's who the Jags released to make room for Tim Tebow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Let me double check that.
Jags keep jagging.
Yeah,
that's
Jags.
And now he's going to make a 53-man roster while Tebow was cut like 10 years ago. Basically.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. I mean, it's not because it's Jacksonville.
Yeah, so that was in May. They signed him. I read that on Twitter. Jags practice squad.
It's Twitter, so you have to believe it.
Yeah. Either way, the Jags let him go. They did have Tim Tebow. So if it's not 100% accurate, it's pretty damn close. And Saubert looked good. Like,
really good.
I'm excited about having him on the roster. I'm assuming he's solid at blocking, but, one of Teddy's best passes was that touchdown pass to Eric, or the one that went to the goal line. I forget what happened there, but tight end depth seems amazing. Albert O playing, because we didn't recap the final game. I was out of town, but like Albert O playing in that final game surprised me. I thought it was going to take him longer to come back from that knee injury, but he looked good. I feel really good about the tight end depth, and maybe the Broncos keep an extra tight end over, that 6th receiver.
Oh God. I've got some cursed Tim Tebow news.
Oh my God.
From just an hour ago. Michael Irvin, Tim Tebow to debate Stephen A. Smith on First Take following Max Kellerman's exit.
Oh my God.
Tim Tebow is joining First Take.
That's so stupid.
The man whose 2011 season basically built First Take is now joining the program.
Yeah. He's a guy who doesn't, Tebow has strong opinions, I guess, but like, he's not a guy I would have thought as your pick to do hot take debates.
And Michael Irvin.
Michael Irvin makes sense to me. Like, he's got a loud voice. He can argue. And I find Michael Irvin very entertaining. But I also don't watch First Take every day.
I think the worst show possible I can imagine is Michael Irvin debating not Stephen A. Smith, just Steve Smith, receiver. Steve Smith show I think I could come up with. Maybe Stephen A. Smith is involved. Stephen A. Smith only able to talk about the NFL, plus those two guys. They get insane ratings, I'm sure. But no, this is horrible. This is really horrible news.
Yeah, you don't have to be that show, Max and Steven, like it makes sense.
Yeah.
As much as like I'll poke fun at Stephen A. Smith or guys like Skip or Colin Cowherd, I think all of those guys are very intelligent and articulate. And, you know, assuming they know who's on the roster of the team they're talking about, like they can have stimulating conversations. Max Kellerman, smart guy. Again, I don't love Tebow's dumb, but he doesn't seem like the intellectual type to drive a show like that. You know what I mean? Like, I think Tebow's good for football analysis. Like, if you want him doing college broadcasts and that sort of thing, I think that's fine. I think this is a weird, it's just like one of the rumors was like Stephen A. didn't love Max Kellerman's know-it-all attitude or whatever.
Yeah, I heard that.
Maybe he just wanted the exact opposite of that. Someone he will always look smarter than.
A know-nothing attitude.
I don't know. That seems fucking weird.
It's very bizarre. I did not tune in before. I don't think this is going to change my mind.
No, this will make – I'll only see Stephen A. clips on Twitter from time to time. Good job, ESPN.
First, you know what, ESPN, you're having a great week. Keep up the hard work.
Hire Tim Tebow.
You hired Tim Tebow. You put a fake high school on a national broadcast.
Wow.
Just keep it up. Keep up the hard work. You guys never change.
Crushing it.
Should we get to the AFC West news?
Well, wait. I want to talk about Royce real quick.
Okay. Yeah, Royce Freeman.
Because that cut actually surprised me.
Okay.
The Broncos, because I thought Royce Freeman would get released or traded once Mike Boone got healthy.
Yeah.
And Benjamin Albright was saying this was like a move for Royce, letting him go now so he can hop on with the team. I don't know if that's true, in that if you held on to Royce for a little while longer, I feel like a spot would open up later. Like, I feel like most teams are kind of set. Royce looked pretty good. You're going to go into the season with just two. No, they signed two more running backs after Royce, or one more at least. Who did they sign after?
McCrary out of Baltimore.
Yeah, maybe Royce wanted to go to get another opportunity, and that's why they did it. He just looked good enough in the preseason where, again, another position I would have felt great about the depth was running back.
Yeah.
Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams, Royce Freeman. And Freeman does everything well. Like, he pass protects, he can catch the ball, and he runs solid. So that one surprised me. I hope Royce lands somewhere where they can use him, and
yeah, same.
He has success. But yeah, that one surprised me a little bit. That's all I wanted to say.
My problem is that they gave him like half the touches this preseason and then cut him. Yeah. Could have used those for another player. I don't know.
Or are you saving that other player unnecessary reps?
Oh, they definitely are. If you're talking about Javonte Williams, they didn't play him the last two games.
Yeah.
Basically to save him.
Yeah, he kind of had an injury. The interesting thing with Javonte Williams, sorry, I said Javonte Williams. In the fantasy drafts I've done, he is ranked much higher than Melvin Gordon. So at least the fantasy sites think he's going to get more carries than Melvin Gordon. I'm not so sure.
Not early on, he won't.
Yeah. So if you want a piece of fantasy advice, you can wait a little later, grab Melvin Gordon. If he looks good early, you can trade Melvin Gordon when his value is high.
I think that is very sage advice.
Yes. Okay. AFC West roundup. So hopefully throughout the season, what we want to do here is kind of take a look at the enemy, what they're doing throughout the week, see if there's anything we need to shit our pants about in terms of the Chiefs, Chargers, and yeah, we'll never be too worried about the Raiders. I saw Mark Davis's $14 million house plans.
Yes, I'm worried about those.
I'm a little worried he's not going to be able to afford that home.
Yeah, I didn't know he had that much money.
I know he's like worth a half a B, like 400 million, 500 million. But
yeah,
the Raiders have some financial issues going on right now with their stadium.
Right.
So this seems like ill-advised for Mark Davis to build a $14 million home.
Yeah. No, it looks pretty ugly. I mean, it kind of looks like the stadium, which is not something you want in a house.
See, I think it looks cool because it looks like a fucking Star Wars outpost or some shit.
Yeah, a little bit.
And it fits the Raiders. I like that he's building his house in theme with this stadium. I heard him talk like twice. And I'm like, oh shit, he actually kind of sounds like he makes sense. But
into the same problem. How are you ever gonna sell it?
Yeah.
How are you ever gonna sell a house?
Hopefully a really rich Raiders fan buys it one day.
Yeah, maybe like the Violator or one of the guys that wears the Darth Vader helmet at the games.
Yeah.
If they ever win the lottery.
Didn't you tell me that like a bunch of those guys are all like doctors and lawyers that get all crazy dressed up?
Yeah, no, that's true.
Just how they release from their high-paying jobs.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, those tickets aren't cheap.
They should be.
Probably. Got them.
Okay, so the Raiders, since we started talking about them, they released John Brown.
Yes.
We'll put that in the rundown. That was the guy I was thinking about as the surprise release when I was thinking about the AFC West. Especially with the Raiders, whose wide receiver situation is interesting, I guess.
Well, you got Hunter Renfrow, who is better than Jalen Ramsey. So I don't know who else you could possibly need behind him. Right?
Hunter Renfrow, the most likable Raider in Raiders history, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so.
So they released John Brown, who is 31 now. But he's still fast. Was with Buffalo last season, but became expendable there with the emergence of Gabe Davis, and then they signed Emmanuel Sanders. He requested his release from the Raiders.
Yeah. I think what they were trying to do is like they're trying to do a 1-year kind of rehabilitation deal.
The Chiefs don't need him because Kelsey and Hill do everything.
Yeah, the Chiefs don't need shit. Like outside of those two guys, it doesn't matter.
And like I like DeMarcus Robinson, I like Byron Pringle when they actually incorporate him into the passing game.
Crunchy, yes.
But yes, once he pop, fun don't stop. Let's see here. We're turning into like an actual sports show.
Yeah. We just like name players. This team is stacked. They've got this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. I don't know how they can't be good this year.
Yeah. 49ers, maybe.
Yeah.
Ravens. Baltimore Ravens.
He was with the Ravens a couple of years ago, wasn't he?
Yeah, is that where he started his career?
No, he started in Arizona. Then he went to Baltimore, where he played with Joe Flacco.
Yep. That's right. That's kind of where he excelled.
He was good there. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know where he's gonna land. Maybe like
not Las Vegas. We know that much.
Not Vegas.
I mean, he could always go to Detroit, right? It feels like Detroit still needs like 10 wide receivers.
Yeah, I don't know what
kicker.
Detroit's doing. Did they finally sign a kicker yet?
I hope not.
Dan Campbell's just like, we're never going to kick field goals.
No.
We're going for it on 2, and we're going for every 4th down.
Just get rid of the punter while you're at it.
Yeah, that's 2 extra roster spots.
They claimed Austin Siebert off waivers from the Bengals.
Cool.
I wish they hadn't done that.
Oh, here's something I wanted to talk about. We'll finish up with the AFC West real quick, I promise. Okay, final preseason game. I'm watching this.
Yes.
And God damn it, what's his name? The punter that we played against. Borquez?
Cody Bojorquez?
Bojorquez.
Yes,
Cody Bojorquez. Just boomed kicks. Just crushed them all game.
Yeah.
And if you've paid attention to the Broncos punter situation since they released Colquitt, they've had guys who are serviceable. They drafted Riley Dixon to replace Colquitt. Then they got rid of Dixon. They brought in Marquette King, tried to change the way he punted for some stupid reason. That didn't work out. They had Wadmania, Colby Wadman. Now they've got Sam Martin. Sam Martin, he's an average punter. Perfectly fine.
You'll take it.
Perfect. Like, he's consistent. He's doesn't mess up. But none of these guys were booming kicks at altitude. And every time opposing punters come in, it seems like at least once a game, they kick like a 65-yard punt. Borquez did it all game. The Rams weren't going to keep him because they have Johnny Hecker, another very good punter. The Packers traded for Borquez, got him. The Broncos got a firsthand look at him. I would have made the move to try and acquire Borquez because I think that's a weapon you can take advantage of half the season. 9 games this year, you should have a punting advantage, and the Broncos just haven't had it. I know it's a small nitpicky thing, but I was like, I want this guy. I would love to have somebody who knocks some 60-plus yard kicks every week, but didn't.
My theory is that they're telling Sam Martin to reel it in because they're worried if the punter kicks it too far, they can't cover the kick. Does that make sense, though?
It makes a little sense.
I mean, their special teams coverage is awful. Their kick coverage is terrible.
Yeah, they've struggled, but maybe that's true.
It might play into it. I don't know. Maybe
that's
I'm
true.
Conspiracy.
Sam Martin starts pinning punts, then fine. That's maybe the thing. Like with Teddy Bridgewater, maybe you won't have to punt far very often. Hopefully there's less 3-and-outs.
Yes.
Another trend. Bad special teams coverage, lots of 3-and-outs. 2 things I have grown to hate.
Yeah. You wonder why this team hasn't had a winning season in 5 years.
And when the defense started to get injured, the other issue the Broncos had was they would get teams to 3rd down and then let them convert.
It's all a recipe for success. Is what it is.
All right. Chiefs, what did they do?
They waived 3rd-year running back Darwin Thompson. And you know what he did? He turned around and he joined the enemy, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
The natural progression and evolution.
Yep. I don't know if he'll get on the roster there at any point. Maybe he seems like he could do some of the things that Gio Bernard does there. So if he ever gets injured, that might make sense. But it's nice to see someone leave the Chiefs.
Yeah, their running back stable is Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Darrell Williams, and here's one I missed or forgot about, Jerick McKinnon.
Yeah.
That's scary. If he's healthy, that's a little scary, right?
Is it? I don't know. Does it matter who they have back there? I don't know.
He seems like a guy they could use in the passing game.
In the Super Bowl. It's like, what does it matter?
Yeah, fair enough.
What a dumb team. They're so good though.
That's what we've been reduced to. Chiefs, you're dumb.
Dumb.
You dumb
Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs roster's fine. I don't give a shit what they did.
Yeah,
this preseason.
Who cares who plays running back for the Chiefs? Doesn't matter.
Here's how bad it's been for Broncos fans. I saw when Patrick Mahomes threw that like one interception in the preseason a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Broncos Twitter was like jumping all over, shitting on Mahomes. I was like, don't do that. First of all, it's preseason. Second of all, you're showing how desperate we look. Mahomes making a mistake in preseason, not a good look for the fan base, guys. We made that mistake by shitting on his interceptions in practice. Okay. We haven't beat them in 4 straight seasons. My philosophy right now with the Chiefs is I'm going to try not to talk shit until we get a win. Because I've made that mistake for decades now with Tom Brady, and I'm going to hold off. I'll make fun of the Raiders because they don't scare me. I'll make fun of the Chargers.
So
it actually scare me a little bit if they stay healthy, but
there's no one to hold you to it.
Yeah, there's the Chargers fans going to come after me.
Yeah, come on. I dare you.
I'll grab my 3 friends and fight them all off.
Yeah, the only thing you have to worry about is an echo.
And one of those friends is a Chargers fan.
Yeah,
got my back.
John Nahn. That's like the only person. He's not going to
at Bolts Blitz
mad at us. He's our friend.
Yeah.
But the Chargers released Tyron Johnson, which was a little bit surprising. He had 20 receptions, 400 yards, 3 touchdowns last year. That was a little bit surprising. I didn't see that one coming. And he was, I don't think the rest of the NFL did either, because he was claimed up by the Jaguars on waivers. The Jaguars are first in the waiver order. So he just didn't last.
We'll take him.
I said, yeah, we'll take him.
If the Jags offensive line can figure their shit out,
well, they've
got like such a solid receiving group.
Yeah, they do.
It's just like a bunch of underrated guys who are solid, in my opinion. Throw him in the mix. I think the Chargers let him go because Jalen Guyton really emerged last season.
Guyton's a guy for sure.
Yeah. I just remember Guyton making like some really like good, tough catches. But still, they're not super deep at receiver. And it just seems like – sorry, what's that?
I was going to say he was impressive last year.
Yeah, Guyton. I'm trying to look up what his stats were.
Yeah, they also drafted Josh Palmer in the 3rd round out of Tennessee, and I think they like what they have out of him. So,
people were really high on that pick too.
Yeah.
But, I think it's like Justin Herbert should excel with whoever's catching the ball. He seems like he might be that type of quarterback. I don't want to say for sure that I believe that because part of me is hoping for a huge sophomore slump. But he looked good last year. There's just no way of shaking it.
He looked really good. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can look
one
at
QB
it one way.
Elway should have went all in for.
Yeah.
The crazy story.
We have such a knack for evading good quarterbacks.
Yeah.
We really do. It just Mac Jones is really underscoring that fact right now.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him or Justin Fields play a snap in the regular season. So
no. I will say like the one thing when you look at Mac Jones.
Yet.
Sorry, what was that?
I was going to say we don't need to flog ourselves over that yet, but
no, not yet. There'll be plenty of flogging time later.
Yeah.
But Mac Jones, the thing that it actually impresses me the most about him is just his pocket presence.
Oh yeah. And it's
crazy. Like,
God, it's so good.
Some things like you just realize right away, like this guy has it figured out. And when you've seen bad pocket presence, I think when you see good pocket presence, it just sticks out. And guys who know how to move up through the pocket, so something Locke hasn't figured out on the pro level yet, he had some success this preseason when he trusted and stepped into it. But yeah, Mac Jones, not the strongest arm. To me, like, he's been compared a lot to Tom Brady, but he kind of reminds me a little bit more of Drew Brees.
Yeah, I think that's
Brady.
fair.
But
that's fair. Yeah, no, he's got incredible rhythm, I think, is the one thing you see out of Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Which is perfect for a timing offense like the Patriots.
Yeah, and I'm rooting for
nice
him because I need my Tom Brady narrative to stick. So I need a Patriots quarterback to fucking just tear it up. And I'd be like, okay, see, you gave Belichick a quarterback who wasn't injured Cam Newton, and they're doing it again. But,
yeah, I kind of wish he had stayed number 50 is the only problem.
Yeah, that would have been cool. If I was a quarterback, I would have asked to do that.
So no, I don't want 10.
He'll be like, I'll change out of 50 when after I throw 50 touchdowns in a season.
Yeah. Then I will wear 10.
Badass. Did we talk about needing Tom Brady to beat Aaron Rodgers in the postseason? Was that our conversation?
Possibly. We can go over it again.
I was just, maybe I had it over the weekend, but I think if Aaron Rodgers wins the Super Bowl with the Packers, he returns to the Packers.
Yeah.
So if it is Tampa Bay versus Green Bay again in the championship game, I might, for the first time in a long time, really, really want Tom Brady to get to the Super Bowl. If he has to deal another loss to Aaron Rodgers, because I think maybe that would help his chance coming to Denver.
Don't you think, though, if he won the Super Bowl in Green Bay, he might just kind of ride off into the sunset?
I don't know. Because I think, like, if he wins the Super Bowl, he's like, see, you guys just listened to the few things I wanted to do. We got there and won. Let's keep listening to me, Aaron Rodgers, and we'll do it again.
Interesting.
Anyway, that's all I have to say today. We got to go do our Patreon fantasy draft. And anything you want to add to this podcast before we leave?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that John Elway played his entire career without an ACL.
Good night and good luck.